When installing a 400 amp service using aluminum wire, selecting the correct conductor sizes for the hot conductors, neutral, and ground is crucial for safety and compliance with electrical codes. For the hot conductors in a 400 amp service using aluminum wire, a size of 500 kcmil is typically required. The National Electrical Code or NEC provides tables that specify the ampacity or current carrying capacity of conductors based on their size, insulation type, and operating temperature. Consulting the appropriate NEC table, such as Table 310.15b16 in the 2020 NEC, is essential to verify the correct conductor size for the specific installation conditions. This table provides ampacities for insulated conductors rated up to 2000 volts, 60 degrees Celsius through 90 degrees Celsius, not more than 3 current carrying conductors in a raceway or cable or earth directly buried, based on ambient temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. For a 400 amp service, the chosen conductor must have an ampacity of at least 400 amps. It's important to note that the NEC allows for certain ampacity adjustments and corrections based on factors like ambient temperature and the number of conductors in a raceway. If the ambient temperature is higher than 30 degrees Celsius, the correction factor must be applied to reduce the conductor's ampacity. Similarly, if more than 3 current carrying conductors are installed in a raceway, adjustment factors may need to be applied as well. These adjustments ensure that the conductors do not overheat, which could damage the insulation and potentially lead to a fire. The neutral conductor in a 400 amp service using aluminum wire is typically sized the same as the hot conductors, which is 500 kcmil. The neutral conductor carries the unbalanced current from the load back to the source. In a balanced three-phase system, the neutral current is minimal, but in an imbalanced system, the neutral current can be significant. Therefore, it's crucial to size the neutral conductor adequately to handle the maximum expected unbalanced load. The NEC specifies the requirements for neutral conductor sizing in section 220.61. This section provides guidance on calculating the neutral load based on the type of loads being served, such as lighting, receptacles, and motors. In some cases, the NEC allows for a reduction in the neutral conductor size, but this is only permitted under specific conditions and requires careful calculations to ensure that the neutral conductor is still adequately sized to carry the expected load. For the grounding electrode conductor in a 400 amp service using aluminum wire, a size of 600 kcmil is typically required. The grounding electrode conductor connects the service equipment to the grounding electrode system, which provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping the overcurrent protective device and clearing the fault. The size of the grounding electrode conductor is determined by the size of the service entrance conductors. NEC Table 250.66 provides the requirements for grounding electrode conductor sizing based on the size of the service entrance conductors. For a 400 amp service with 500 kcmil aluminum service entrance conductors, Table 250.66 requires a 4/0 American wire gauge or AWG aluminum grounding electrode conductor. It's essential to ensure that the grounding electrode conductor is properly connected to the grounding electrode system, which can consist of ground rods, crown plates, or a metal underground water pipe. The grounding electrode system must have a low impedance path to ground to effectively clear faults and protect equipment and personnel. In addition to the conductor sizes, it's also important to consider the type of insulation used for the conductors. Common insulation types for service entrance conductors include THHN, THWN, and XHHW. These insulation types are rated for different operating temperatures and environments. It's important to select an insulation type that is suitable for the specific installation conditions. The NEC specifies the allowable uses and installation requirements for different insulation types. Furthermore, the type of connectors and terminations used for the aluminum conductors is crucial for ensuring a reliable and safe electrical connection. Aluminum conductors require the use of connectors and terminations that are specifically designed for use with aluminum. These connectors are typically made of aluminum or have a bimetallic construction to prevent galvanic corrosion between the aluminum conductor and the connector. It's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing and tightening the connectors to ensure a proper connection. Improperly installed connectors can lead to overheating, arcing, and even fires. In summary, when installing a 400 amp service using aluminum wire, the following conductor sizes are typically required. Firstly, 500 kc male for the hot conductor. Secondly, 500 kc male for the neutral conductor. Thirdly, 4/0 American wire gauge or AWG for the grounding electrode conductor. It's important to consult the NEC and local electrical codes to verify the correct conductor sizes for the specific installation conditions and to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. Additionally, it's crucial to use the correct type of connectors and terminations for aluminum conductors and to follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation. By following these guidelines, you can ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is updated every 3 years by the National Fire Protection Association or NFPA, and it is widely adopted by state and local jurisdictions in the United States. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, grounding, wiring methods, and equipment installation. It is essential for electricians and electrical contractors to be familiar with the NEC and to follow its requirements to ensure the safety of electrical installations. Local electrical codes may also have additional requirements that are not covered in the NEC. It is important to check with the local authority having jurisdiction or AHJ to determine the specific requirements for electrical installations in your area. The AHJ is typically the local building department or electrical inspector, and they are responsible for enforcing the electrical codes. When selecting conductors for an electrical installation, it is important to consider the ampacity, voltage drop, and insulation type. Ampacity is the current carrying capacity of a conductor, and it is determined by the size of the conductor and the insulation type. Voltage drop is the reduction in voltage along the length of a conductor, and it is caused by the resistance of the conductor. Insulation type is the material that surrounds the conductor and provides electrical insulation. The NEC provides tables that specify the ampacity of conductors based on their size, insulation type, and operating temperature. The NEC also provides guidelines for calculating voltage drop. It is important to select conductors that have sufficient ampacity to carry the expected load and that will not cause excessive voltage drop. The insulation type should be suitable for the specific installation conditions. Overcurrent protection is essential for protecting electrical wiring and equipment from overloads and short circuits. Overcurrent protective devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to interrupt the flow of current when it exceeds a safe level. The NEC specifies the requirements for overcurrent protection in Article 240. This article covers the types of overcurrent protective devices, the ratings of overcurrent protective devices, and the installation requirements for overcurrent protective devices. Grounding is essential for providing a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping the overcurrent protective device and clearing the fault. Grounding also helps to prevent electric shock by providing a low impedance path for fault current to flow to ground. The NEC specifies the requirements for grounding in Article 250. This article covers the types of grounding systems, the grounding electrode system, and the equipment grounding conductors. Wiring methods refer to the way in which electrical conductors are installed. Common wiring methods include conduit, cable, and raceway. The NEC specifies the requirements for wiring methods in Chapter 3. This chapter covers the types of wiring methods, the installation requirements for wiring methods, and the allowable uses for wiring methods. Equipment installation refers to the way in which electrical equipment is installed. Electrical equipment includes items such as panel boards, transformers, motors, and appliances. The NEC specifies the requirements for equipment installation in Chapter 4. This chapter covers the types of equipment, the installation requirements for equipment, and the clearances required for equipment. It is important to follow all applicable electrical codes and standards when installing electrical wiring and equipment. Failure to do so can result in unsafe conditions, property damage, and even death. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, it is important to hire a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform electrical work safely and correctly. Remember to always de-energize electrical circuits before working on them. Use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is de-energized before touching any wires or equipment. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment or PPE, such as gloves and safety glasses, when working on electrical circuits. Be aware of the potential hazards of electricity and take precautions to avoid electric shock. If you are not sure how to perform a task safely, ask for help from a qualified electrician. Electricity is a powerful force that can be dangerous if not handled properly. By following safety precautions and adhering to electrical codes and standards, you can ensure the safety of yourself and others. Additionally, always remember to obtain the necessary permits before starting any electrical work. Permits are required for most electrical installations, and they ensure that the work is inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. The electrical inspector will verify that the work is performed in accordance with the electrical codes and standards. Obtaining permits helps to ensure the safety and quality of electrical installations. Furthermore, document all electrical work that you perform. Keep records of the materials used, the conductor sizes, and the overcurrent protective device ratings. This documentation can be helpful for future maintenance and repairs. It can also be helpful if you ever need to make a claim with your insurance company. Proper documentation is an important part of responsible electrical work. Keep in mind that electrical codes and standards are constantly evolving. It is important to stay up to date on the latest changes to the codes and standards. You can do this by attending continuing education courses, reading industry publications, and participating in professional organizations. Staying informed about the latest changes to the codes and standards will help you to ensure that your electrical work is always safe and compliant. Also, consider the environmental factors that may affect the electrical installation. For example, if the installation is in a damp or wet location, you will need to use conductors and equipment that are rated for wet locations. If the installation is in a corrosive environment, you will need to use conductors and equipment that are resistant to corrosion. Taking environmental factors into account will help to ensure the longevity and reliability of the electrical installation. Finally, remember that electrical work is a serious responsibility. The safety of people and property depends on the quality of your work. Always take your time, follow the instructions carefully, and double-check your work to ensure that it is safe and compliant. By taking your responsibilities seriously, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and ensure the safety of the electrical system. For the specific case in Florida, it's important to be aware of any specific amendments or additions to the NEC that may be adopted by the state or local jurisdiction. Florida has its own building codes, and these codes may include additional requirements for electrical installations. Check with the local authority having jurisdiction to determine if there are any specific requirements that apply to your project. Remember that electrical codes are minimum requirements, and it is always a good idea to exceed these requirements when possible. For example, you may want to use larger conductors than required by the code to reduce voltage drop and improve the efficiency of the electrical system. You may also want to use higher quality equipment to improve the reliability of the system. Exceeding the code requirements can result in a safer and more reliable electrical installation.